Good evening, Paul Leary with you from WLRN Queer Channel, and we are here tonight in Fort Lauderdale, where Greg Louganis will return his gold medal to the International Swimming Hall of Fame right here in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale. So join us for the festivities. We are here with Greg Louganis. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, and I wanted to... Who's your friend, by the way?
This is Dobby.
Hi, Dobby. How are you? What a night.
Named after the house elf in Harry Potter.
Well, I wanted to talk to you. What do you think about tonight and what's about to happen?
Well, it's great. I mean, I gave my my Olympic medal to Jeanne White, a number of years ago, and I put my medals on loan to the International Swimming Hall of Fame, and I called her up and asked her if she'd be willing to put hers on loan so that they could all be together. So it's going to be nice, and they'll have a real nice tribute to Ryan White and my friendship with Ryan. And
tell me a little bit about that friendship. Some people may not know, or maybe they know, but we'd like to hear it again. What was that friendship all about?
Well, Ryan was contracted HIV through his clotting agent. He was a hemophiliac, and he fought for kids' rights to education, and did a lot of frontline work dealing with HIV and AIDS, and a lot of education. And he was my hero. I mean, he was my inspiration to get through the 1988 Olympic Games after I hit my head on the springboard. That's one thing that I asked myself. I said, well, what would Ryan do in this situation? And I knew that he was a fighter, and that's kind of where I got the inspiration to continue on.
Yeah, truly an inspiration. And what has his mother been doing with the medal all this time? Where's this medal been? Where's it been traveling to?
I have no idea. I think it's just been in her house. So, so this way, I mean, people can come to the International Swimming Hall of Fame and see all the medals and enjoy them, and and I think it's great opportunity. But also learn about my friendship with a very special individual, and that was Ryan White. And Jeannie and Andrea and Roy have been incredible friends and very caring individuals. I consider them family.
Yeah. And so now we're here tonight, and swimming is sort of taken again to the spotlight with Michael Phelps. What do you think of swimming being in the spotlight again?
Well, it's some of it's been good, some of it's been not so good. But Michael, he's done some really incredible things. I mean, it was so exciting to, I was sitting at home like millions of others, watching all those world records being broken. And
did it bring back memories? I'm sure.
Well, I'm glad I'm not doing it. It's funny. It was like the one thing I had to chuckle, because when I watched the diving, I watched the Chinese, and they pull their legs apart, and I'm bow-legged, so I could see the water through my legs, and they pull their legs apart, and I'm like, oh God, they learned that from me.
Oh,
so it was pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, and it's a pleasure that we're here tonight. And I just want to say, keep up the great work, and you're an inspiration to people too, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We're here with Ken Keachel. He is the Broward County Vice Mayor.
Right.
Great title. And wanted to talk to you about tonight's event, what you think, what you're seeing, how proud you are of having the International Swimming Hall of Fame here in Broward.
You know what? I'm absolutely proud. This is a fantastic event. I am the highest openly gay elected official in Florida, and the idea of having Greg Louganis and bringing the medal back here is just unbelievable. And having him here and Ryan White's mother, it's inspirational.
It really is. You can feel it in the energy in the air. It's really a great night. Well, tell us, though, Broward County having the International Swimming Hall of Fame here, what's that like? I mean, some people don't even know it's here in Fort Lauderdale.
Well, we're trying to change that, obviously. Yeah. But, we're a really progressive county. We have domestic partnership benefits. We are like the county. And obviously, I'm the vice mayor of Broward County. So we're trying to make sure everybody finds out exactly what we are, and the International Swimming Hall of Fame is part of that.
Yeah. And you said you're the highest ranking official openly gay?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know about the closeted ones, but openly, it's me. You got it.
Waving the flag.
You got it.
Well, it's a great night, and what else is happening in Broward County these days?
Well, we're just keeping really, really busy. You know, tourism with the economy.
Yeah,
come to Broward County. We want you here. Everything's good.
Yeah,
everything's
things are going well. Well, of course, everybody likes to come to the sunshine.
Absolutely.
So
And
those,
plenty of it. So.
And those of our international viewers or national viewers, come on down to Broward and Fort Lauderdale. Have a good time.
Fantastic.
Well,
we want you here.
It's great to meet you, and thanks for talking.
Nice meeting you too, man.
Great. We're here with our very own Mayor of Fort Lauderdale. How are you, Mayor?
I'm doing great tonight.
Well, it's great to see you at all these wonderful events. What do you think of tonight's event?
Oh, it's a great evening. We're truly recognizing a wonderful individual, someone who got it done as a diver and now gets it done outside of the pool, if you will. He's just it seems like a better person than he was a diver, and that's got to be hard to beat.
Well, it's good when you have both good people with what they do and a good person in general, you know?
Yeah, just, you know, tremendous record as a diver, and what he's done since he left diving in the community, what he's done as a leader in terms of issues. I'm just delighted to be here tonight to celebrate with him.
Well, that's great. What do you think of having the International Swimming Hall of Fame in Fort Lauderdale? A lot of people probably don't know it's here.
Well, we love having it here, and we hope it's here for many years to come. We've had a great 45-year relationship with this tremendous hall, and we hope to have it for another 45 years.
Great. Well, let's look forward to another great night tonight. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yep.
As Broward County's Vice Mayor, and on behalf of the 1.8 million residents of Broward County, I am literally thrilled to welcome Ryan White's beautiful mom and his friend Greg to my district in coastal Fort Lauderdale and to our International Swimming Hall of Fame. And when I was asked by, I call her Mama Ellis now, whether I would be a part of this charitable event, I jumped at the chance. Because for me, this isn't just another charitable or social event. For me, it's a night of remembrance and celebration. As some of you may know, because I see a lot of our friends here tonight, my first companion, Wall, contracted AIDS in the late 80s and subsequently died of AIDS in the late 90s, while I miraculously never contracted the disease. And to me, this evening's event is a chance for us to collectively remember the past and to celebrate how far we've all come. And remembering back to those days, I can remember how hard it was watching my companion fight daily to survive. And I remember thinking, you know, we're only in our 20s with our lives ahead of us. This really can't be happening. But it was happening. Yet we took comfort during those difficult times in our lives, knowing that there were others like Greg and Ryan who were fighting the same disease that my own family was fighting. And I never could have guessed that 20 years later that I would be the elected Vice Mayor of Broward County, standing here with Greg and with Ryan's mom, and reuniting Greg and Ryan's gold medal with Greg's other medals at the International Swimming Hall of Fame. So, let's make no mistake. So, my friends, let's not make any mistakes here. This is a very special evening for very, very many of us. And I'm sure that Ryan and Wally and all of our friends and our relatives who fought the good fight are watching us now, and they're smiling. So while we're enjoying our cocktails and we're enjoying each other's company this evening, let's take a few moments to remember those special individuals who are no longer with us. And let's say silently a prayer for those who are living with this disease today. And God bless them all, you all, and all of us.
And Bruce, what you do here at the Hall of Fame is tremendous. For what you might have read in the papers, we plan on keeping the Hall of Fame here for another 45 years. So it's not going to go anywhere. And to Ryan's mom, you've been through so much and have experienced so much, but more importantly, you've given so much back. And I think you took a terrible tragedy and have turned it around to become a tremendous drive, if you will, a tremendous drive for all of us to do good, to make this world a better place. So thank you for doing that. I can't imagine what you've gone through, but I will tell you, thank you for taking that event, that tragedy, and making it a wonderful thing for so many other people. So I know Ryan's looking down, you're smiling, we're all smiling, I think, and Greg, what you have done, I can just suggest to you all, look up Greg's record as a diver. You see the Olympic medals here? That's the tip of the iceberg. World championships, Pan American Games championships, Universal Summer Championships. I started looking at this and I'm going, this is amazing what he accomplished as a diver over a period of time. And then you go beyond that and you realize that the 1980 Olympics he wasn't allowed to participate in because of the boycott. That was probably while you were at your prime. They talk about an individual that probably would have shattered all records and has set all records. But Greg, your career as a diver is unmatched. And the only thing that's neat or neater about that is that your career as a person has surpassed your career as a diver. You read about an individual who, since he has left the pool, has done more and given back more in terms of time and energy and just a commitment to making this world a better place. And through your efforts, we're all benefiting. And so we're delighted to have you here. Fort Lauderdale will always welcome you here. We'll always love to have you come back to Hall of Fame anytime you want to come back. But thank you for your contributions, not only in the pool, but since you left the pool as just a great person here in this community. So thank you, and welcome to everyone here tonight. We're delighted to have you here. Thank you.
You actually kind of did my introduction for Greg. And I was going to steal the one I heard last night. But I have to clarify first, there's good, better, best, and then there's something better than that. There has never been a diver as graceful and as talented and as hardworking as Greg Louganis. But what Jack said is true. He's absolutely the best. There's no one higher than that. But as a person, Greg has reached higher levels than that. He's just an incredible person, which is one reason why he's here tonight and paid his own way to get here. To be here with you and to be here with Jeanne and to help us open up this new exhibit. And Greg, it's great to see you, and it's great to see you back here again, and please come up and meet the crowd.
The International Swimming Hall of Fame, I mean, there's so much history here. I remember coming here when I was, I think, 9 or 10 years old, diving in the pool, and that's where first time that my coach, Ron O'Brien, saw me dive. And and that forged an incredible relationship there. And you know, thank you, Tim, for being here, representing Ron and Mary Jane. This is so humbling, you know, just to be here. And you know, what I want to share with you is my relationship with Ryan. When I saw the People magazine article on Ryan White, I'm dyslexic, so I had real difficult time in school. And if somebody told me that I couldn't go to school, I'd say, great. You know, but here, I'd be like, you know, celebrating. But here, this young kid, Ryan White, was fighting for the rights to all young kids for education. And I thought that was so incredible, you know, that this young person had that drive and knowing, you know, that education really is, you know, is power. And so that's how I got in touch with Jeannie and Ryan. And I remember taking Ryan, first time we met was in Indianapolis, and I took Ryan up to the 10-meter platform, had him look off, and he said, "You're nuts. You're crazy. I can't believe you do that." But my memories of him are, you know, riding a skateboard and wanting a car, and you know, and just normal kid stuff. I was also very honored that I was able to go to Andrea's regionals for roller skating, and they've just been Jeanne, Roy, Andrea, and Ryan were like family to me. I mean, it was when I was moved back to California, whenever there was an earthquake, Jeanne would be the first one to call. Is everything okay? So she'd always be checking up on me. You know, Ryan was an incredible inspiration. He, you know what happened in the 1988 Olympic Games. I had a little accent. But when that happened, you know, 6 months prior to that, I was diagnosed HIV positive. You know, at that time in 1988, we thought of HIV as a death sentence. And so I thought if I was diagnosed HIV positive, then I was going to do the honorable thing. And I was training in Florida, Boca Raton, Florida, and my thoughts were I was going to pack my bags, move back to California, and lock myself in my house and wait to die. Just because that's the mentality that we had at that time. We didn't have many drugs available to us. AZT was pretty much the only drug that we had available to us, which was prescribed 2 pills every 4 hours around the clock. So think about this. I'm training for the Olympic trials. Every 4 hours I'm reminded that I have a compromised immune system. I have to get up in the middle of the night, in the middle of the morning, take my AZT. You know, I had a little watch that went off every 4 hours to remind me to take my AZT. So leading up to the '88 Olympic Games, there was a lot of pressure. I also was trying to get Ryan to the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul, Korea, because I wanted to share my Olympic experience with Ryan. And they would not allow him into the country because of his HIV status. So if he wasn't allowed into the country, then I knew that I wouldn't be welcome either. So that's the reason why there was so much secrecy. And like I said in my book, Breaking the Surface, I felt like there were so many secrets, I felt like I was on an island with barely a phone for communication to the outside world, because at that time, that information had to be kept secret, you know, and in order for me to be able to compete at the '88 Olympic Games, it had to be secret. And we were calling the USOC, making sure that the medications, you know, I wasn't going to be disqualified because of the medications. Well, obviously they're not performance-enhancing drugs. So I guess we didn't have anything to worry about. And so there was a lot of pressure going into the '88 Olympic Games. Ron had, my coach, had his own things at home as well, because his mother slipped into a coma while we were at the '88 Olympic Games in Seoul, so he wasn't sure if he was going to be staying. You know, but you don't achieve greatness on your own. There's always somebody there, you know, whether it's a supportive mother, a coach, a friend. And so he chose to stay with us. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have been able to get through that Olympic Games without him. He was my rock. And, you know, that's when Celine Dion's song came out, Because I Love You. And that was how I felt about Ron at that time. And I was able to share that with him. But when I had the accident, the one thing that went through my mind was, what would Ryan do in this situation? Because Ron turned to me and said, you know what, you can pack up your bags, go home. You have an incredible career, diving career to look back on. Nobody's going to fault you. And I turned to him and I said, we worked too long and hard to get here, and I don't want to give up without a fight. You know, and in my mind I was saying Ryan wouldn't give up without a fight. So then we got through that Olympic Games. It was one dive at a time, one moment at a time, just to get through. And it was just, we got through by the skin of our teeth. And fortunately, it was successful, and that's the reason why I presented my Olympic gold medal to Jeanne, because Ryan was my inspiration to get through that. that was his medal. And I just wanted to... So it's really incredible. I mean, thank you all for being here. I mean, I see so many friends, and just incredible for you to come out and be supportive. And I'm just thrilled that the medals are all together now, and we can have other people enjoy them the way that we have. And Jeannie, thank you for doing it.
It would definitely have been Greg. Even though I'm not quite old enough, I don't think that I definitely would have had Greg Louganis as my son. Well, a lot of you know my story. My son Ryan White was diagnosed with AIDS in 1984. He was one of the first children and first hemophiliacs to come down with AIDS. And at that time, there was no education, and people thought you had to do something bad or wrong or you wouldn't have got it. People thought that kissing, tears, sweat, and saliva spreaded AIDS, and so literally we were outcasts of our community. Ryan became famous because of his fight to go to school. But during that 1.5-year long fight, it was truly hectic, and it was the most horrible time of our lives because you never knew who your friend was. It was a time where nobody called, nobody ever came over to our house. Our house was the AIDS house. And the only people that called were reporters. It seemed like reporters were the only ones that were wanting to talk to Ryan. And we get a call one day, and it was Greg Louganis. And Greg was one of the very first people to call us that wasn't a reporter or a media person. And I can remember Ryan. Ryan was very shy. He was very timid. He was very smart, but at the same time, he didn't know what to do about his life. I mean, his life just seemed like, I'm going to get by it. I want to go to school, but somehow, some way, I'm going to get through this. But a phone call came through, and it was so cute because Greg asked Ryan. He told him, he said, I'm Greg Louganis. He said, do you know who I am? And Ryan said, well, you're a swimmer. He goes, well, I'm a diver. You know, that evidently wants to be separated, but it was so cute because Ryan kind of knew who he was, you know. But we went to the U.S. Championships in Indianapolis to see Greg, and Greg took him up on the board and everything, but Ryan took a friend, and after Greg won, he put the medal around Ryan's neck. And it was like, Ryan didn't think he was going to get to keep it, you know, and so he went and asked Greg, he goes, do you want this back? And Greg said, no, this is yours. So Ryan that was the first medal. Greg ended up giving him 3 medals. He gave him 3 medals at different championships that we went to. So I have never reported the story about Seoul, Korea. When you called and asked if we would like to go, because your mother couldn't go, if we would like to go to Seoul, Korea. And I've never reported that story, never said that. And I just kind of let it go by. I kind of knew why, but at the same time, they would not allow Ryan into the country. And you could tell that was very, very hard for Greg to tell me that. And I didn't know, of course, after he had his head, there was a story behind that. But Greg remained friends. I tell you, every time we went to California, we'd either go to Greg's house or else meet at the Hard Rock. Whether it was my whole family or no matter how many people that we went, we'd always meet at the Hard Rock and have lunch. It was a time that we knew every time we were going to get to see Greg. Greg always made himself welcome. There were several things that I'd really like to say about even after Ryan passed away, because losing a child is the worst pain any mother could go through. And it was just very hard. And then Greg came out with his story. And I get a call from Oprah. Greg was going to be on Oprah's show. And Greg kind of didn't know who knew, or he didn't know that I knew, and I didn't really know, but I kind of suspected. And Oprah had me fly out the next morning at 6 a.m. to be on the show to surprise Greg. And I wanted to be there when Greg opened, you know, that was the first story he told being about HIV. But after Ryan died, there were so many things. We had a polo match for the Ryan White Foundation. And Greg wore his Olympic shirt. Wrong thing to do at a polo match and an auction. It was a white shirt. It was the most gorgeous shirt you ever saw. It had all the Olympic things and things on the sleeves. I mean, and some lady said, "I'll give you $500 for the shirt off your back." I knew Greg did not want to give up that shirt, but Greg went and took off his shirt and sold it to that lady for $500 for the foundation. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But I know that had to be hard on you. But he's got his body covered up. But I tell you, and I like to say that. But I tell you, we would even come down here to Miami to see Greg, and Greg would always meet up with us. We'd come down, and he would be training. I mean, he was always there for us. I mean, anytime we called, said we were going to be anywhere near, he was always there. And when he called, Andrea had quit roller skating competition the year Ryan died in 1990. And she had just started back up. She thought, well, I'm going to try to skate one more year. And when she made it to regionals, Greg said, I want to come to see Andrea. I want to be there for Andrea. And it was just, who would do that? It was just because Ryan wasn't here, he was continuing on his friendship even with Andrea. And so he ended up, Andrea made it to nationals, and I don't know, a few points might have been scored her way because Greg was there, I don't know. But anyway, she ended up making it to nationals in roller skating. So it was a great comeback for her too. But still, even today, I'm just so pleased. Roy and I, when we go to California, we always go out just for a drive. And you don't know how many times I've just stopped in on Greg unexpectedly because we don't plan on going there. We just go out for a drive and we say, oh, let's see if we can find Greg's house. So I just, he's been a true friend forever, and I'm so blessed to call him a friend. And you don't know, everybody out here needs to know how great, really, truly great of a person he really is, and he asks nothing of himself. And I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hit that body.
We're here with Jeanne White, of course, mother of Ryan White. How are you tonight?
I'm great. This is a great event.
It really has.
Yes, honoring Greg and, all the accomplishments he's made and the place to show his medals. It's just great.
You gave an inspiring speech in there. It's been so many years, and you just keep going. What's your inspiration? I think I know, but tell us.
I think it's been therapy for me too, but it's seeing the progress that's been made in this disease. Seeing a time where everybody was passing away to where I've been so fortunate to be able to see meds come about, and medicines and treatment and care and to be a part of that. And just to think that you had some small part of that. I'm not the one that did all the work though. There are so many people that got us to where we are today, and I'm just one little piece of that. And I'm just thrilled to be one little piece of that.
Well, and we're so happy. So many people here are showing so much love for you. It must make you feel wonderful, does it?
It does, because, after I lost Ryan, I just thought my world was ended. And thanks to Senator Kennedy and Hatch, they named the bill the Ryan White Care Act, and they insisted that I be a part of it. And so I spoke to senators, and I never felt like I had a lot of confidence But the longer I did it, I felt the love that I received from so many people that were HIV positive that it was just so heartwarming for me to be a part of their lives.
Well, your love really comes out when you speak. You really move me there. One last thing, the bill is about to expire. What can people do to help make that reenacted?
Well, you know, it expires September 29th, but at the same time, it's not going to expire. It will probably continue even though it's not signed. I'm not sure what's going on with the healthcare issues that we're already on, you know, our national healthcare program. So,
but can people contact their representatives to let them know?
Let them know that it's still fresh on everybody's minds, and don't forget people with HIV and AIDS. Yes, definitely so. You know, I don't think it's the end of the world, but we always want more money. I mean, come on. I mean, you know, as people are living longer and longer, and we were wanting people to be diagnosed earlier, you know, we got to make sure they will be able to get the meds and the drugs and the care and the treatment and all that. Yeah.
Well, thank you, and it's such a pleasure to meet you, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been a wonderful evening here with Jeanne White and Greg Louganis here in Fort Lauderdale at the International Swimming Hall of Fame. For Queer Channel, I'm Paul Leary from WLRN. Have a great night, everybody.